The situations portrayed in this program are very dangerous. They have been performed by trained professionals in order to replicate worst-case scenarios of real-life hazards. Viewers should not, under any circumstances, attempt to replicate any of the situations presented in the program. Coming up on House Hazards, it's home demolition with a twist.
Fire in the hole!
A turkey goes up in smoke.
Now that is how you cook a turkey.
And Christmas time will never be the same.
There you go.
Home, sweet home. Well, not as sweet as you might think. Your house is really out to get you. There are thousands of hazards hiding in every home, and our team of experts will separate the fiction from the facts so you can avoid domestic meltdown. Scientist Francesca will expose the hidden dangers lurking in every home. Engineer Dan will show you how everyday appliances can turn from labor-saving to life-threatening. And special effects expert Brendan will recreate the worst-case scenario. We've all heard the story. You go on vacation and forget to turn the gas off to your furnace. The pilot light goes out and gas fills the room. When you come back into the house and turn the lights on, it sparks an explosion. Gas heaters are responsible for more than 3,500 structural fires every year in North America. We've got engineer Dan to explain how this happens.
The gas is fed into the unit where it meets a pilot light or a glow bar, which makes it burn up, heat comes out, and all the gases are then vented out. Where this can go wrong is if your pilot light goes out, that gas can just leak without burning into your home, or if somebody breaks the line, that gas is gonna leak into your home as well.
The team wants to show that this heater can blow up this room, and to make sure they do it right, they're first going to test out their theories on a dollhouse.
How much propane do we need to blow up the box?
Well, how big's the box? 4x4, right?
So we've got a 4x4 box. How tall is it?
4 feet.
Another 4 feet. That gives us 64 cubic feet. What's our explosive limit for propane?
4 to 5%.
When gas leaks into a room, all it takes is a 4% propane volume to ignite all the fuel trapped inside. This 4% is known as the stoichiometric ratio for a gas leak explosion.
Let's say we take 4% and we multiply that by 64, we're gonna get 2.56 cubic feet of propane is what we need to pump into that box so that it goes bye-bye.
The explosive limit is very low. Too much or too little natural gas and they won't get the results they want. An explosion.
Kate, propane is in.
The box is sealed.
Ignition system ready.
We want to be as precise as possible with the amount of propane we put in our box. That's why we've hooked this tank up to 2 different measurement systems. Up here, we have a flow meter that tells us the volume we've put in, and the tank is sitting on a scale that'll tell us the weight we've added. Here's the key. When this scale tells us we've added exactly 0.3 pounds of propane to our box, we'll let it circulate with the fans for about 10 minutes, then we hit the ignition.
Good? You guys ready?
Come back here.
Before this dollhouse demolition goes up in smoke, it's date night for Brendan and Dan. Hazardous enough. With their dates, the guys are going to show how a romantic evening at home can turn into one of the 370,000 house fires reported every year in the U.S. The guys are setting up an experiment with 2 heat sources found in practically every home: electricity and ethanol.
Get it all the way up. A guy like me loves an electric blanket because it's not too far away from being very, very dangerous.
Fondue's pretty simple. We've got ourselves some chocolate sauce that we're heating up with our element. I'm gonna start by filling up my fuel gel container.
Dan's fondue set heats up his chocolate sauce by burning an ethanol-based gel fuel from below. The fuel burns at temperatures around 200 degrees Celsius. Making matters worse, alcohol flames are difficult to see. The majority of injuries occur because people fill the containers while they're still lit.
Once it gets on you, it's gonna be very hard to get it off. Stop, drop, and roll isn't gonna help you. You're more likely to actually spread the flame. And if you try to use water, you're gonna spread it even more. That's how hazardous a fondue can be.
I'm taking a reading with my thermal camera, and this blanket currently reads about 38 degrees. That's hot, but I can make it a lot hotter.
All modern electric blankets have a safety to prevent them from getting too hot. This blanket uses a bimetallic strip thermostat. When electricity enters the safety, one metal expands faster than the other, bending the strip away from the circuit and stopping the electricity before the blanket overheats. Brendan is removing the safety to show how much heat a malfunctioning blanket can generate.
This is actually quite a simple thing to do. Don't do this.
So, because it's an alternating current. So I should cut it here and wire these three things together. Subvert the switch. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. Right.
Now what I'm doing is I'm gonna strip these wires and hot wire the whole system together.
I know Brendan's gonna do something to his electric blanket, so I'm gonna add more fuel. A lot more fuel. And then spill it on my date. This date is about to get much hotter than either of us anticipated. Hey, Brendan, how's your date going?
She seems fascinated.
I'm using this as it's supposed to be used, and it's already hazardous. You have to spend 10 minutes jerry-rigging yours to make it hazardous. Seriously, Brendan, how much more time do you need? I've been waiting for 10 minutes.
Just 2 more minutes, Dan. I'm nearly done.
Having finished rewiring the blanket, Brendan's next step is to concentrate the heat source by making a ball out of the blanket. An easy way to start a fire.
I think all my dates go better with alcohol. Any liquid with an electric blanket is not a good idea. In this case, a flammable one.
Oh, sweetie, look, you're making a mess.
Again, the alcohol makes for a far more hazardous scenario. Here, spilling a drink could actually cause the short in the electric blanket.
You've got a drinking problem, my dear.
With Brendan's blanket ready to warm up, this experiment is about to get too hot to handle. Brendan and Dan are comparing which heat source is more likely to make a date go up in flames. Dan has ethanol fuel gel that burns at around 200 degrees Celsius, and Brendan has recreated a malfunctioning electrical blanket by removing the safety.
Let's see whose date gets hotter. Go! 5 out of 6. 6 out of 6 lit, and nothing's happening.
This might take a little while.
Ooh.
Any second, all I need to do is tip this, and the hazard begins.
Well, it's getting hot enough to burn skin now, which is pretty hot.
I'm wedged between the 2 worst dates ever.
This is a hot date.
This is a very hot date.
Brendan, where are you at?
I'm 71, 72.
So it's gone up 30 degrees in like a minute.
It's hot. All right, this will go.
My chocolate is evaporating.
All right, she's at 90. We're getting somewhere anyway.
I see smoke coming off of her gorgeous dress.
My tray is literally starting to get really hot. I'm not actually gonna be able to tip it over if I wait too long. My date's hotter.
While Brendan's blanket is dangerously hot, Dan's alcohol is burning out of control. Once out of its container, the ethanol fuel gel spreads and clings to everything in its path. Even one drop can cause 2nd and 3rd degree burns from a fire that's difficult to extinguish. This proves that alcohol is truly the greater hazard.
Oh my gosh.
Right on. Yes, right on.
Ah, that's hot. Fondue, hazardous.
I have got to declare Dan the winner on that one.
God, I hate losing to Dan.
The hazard team has set up an experiment with a miniature house inside an acrylic box to see if they can recreate a gas leak explosion.
Good? You guys ready?
Come back here. Perfect, point 3. We're ready to go.
The box now contains a 4% propane-to-air mixture, the same conditions that kill hundreds of people every year. All Brendan needs to do now is hit the switch.
We're lit, and...
Nice!
You see, the concussive force just takes that wall right off the box.
Lifts the side of the house.
It's important to note that most of the explosion is on the lower part of the box, right? So our mix wasn't as good as we thought. Most of the propane still stayed on the bottom.
But still, it was enough to blow the box apart.
Absolutely.
So if we're trying to replicate what happens in a real home, we've sealed up the room nice and airtight. Maybe we can blow the room apart.
Now that the team knows what to expect, they're turning their focus to the bedroom to see how destructive a gas leak can be on a life-size scale. Unlike their miniature home, a real house contains leaks and holes that could easily allow air and gas to spread from room to room.
If we do this wrong and gas leaks out of this room, we could set the whole house on fire.
We need this house for future hazards. So to contain the blast, Brendan and Dan are making sure every surface in the room is covered with a plastic membrane.
Of course, Francesca's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, it's strange how she disappears whenever there's some real work to be done.
The situations portrayed in this program are very dangerous. They have been performed by trained professionals in order to replicate worst-case scenarios of real-life hazards. Viewers should not, under any circumstances, attempt to replicate any of the situations presented in the program. Christmas time, a magical season filled with joy and happiness, but also danger.
I wonder what it is.
Open it.
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't have to get me.
It's not for me.
The hell is this?
You know it's not really Christmas, right?
Good morning, guys.
Dan?
Brendan. What? You guys started without me.
The team has created this scenario to test a hazard we all know well, a Christmas tree fire. This happens about 250 times a year in North America, killing more than 20 people annually. They've got an old dried-out tree, plenty of flammable wrapping paper, and Christmas lights glowing away.
One of my favorite tools is the infrared camera. With this, we can tell exactly what temperature different parts of the tree are, and not only that, it'll show it to us in a nice color scheme.
Even for a dry, dead tree, the needles on the branches must reach 232 degrees Celsius to burst into flame.
This one's definitely hotter.
But by how much?
Looking at 45 degrees Celsius. These aren't nearly hot enough.
And they've been on for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
So even if we left it all holidays, probably would never even get hot enough.
These lights alone aren't enough to ruin a holiday. But Christmas is more than just the tree. It's a roaring fire at the hearth, which we don't have. But Brendan has the next best thing.
Pile of hot embers and we'll blow the sparks
Brendan.
towards the Christmas tree. And this is a real hazard. This is the kind of thing that happens in the holidays.
Francesca is doing her best impersonation of a chimney, recreating a downdraft that could blow a burning ember onto the tree. So, to speed things up, Brendan is going to place the embers directly onto the tree.
Ready and go.
Oh,
That's going.
why does it sound like popcorn?
That's the pine needles you hear.
We're getting a lot of smoke in here, guys. Oh, look at all the smoke coming out.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That is some black smoke.
Pouring out. That got serious really fast. The amount, it went from no smoke and just like a few pieces to boom, the whole thing went up and that room was filled with smoke.
Not only that, normally, I mean, we had people standing by, but your closest fire station is what, at least 3 minutes away? 3 minutes, that room is gone.
That's your house.
Gone.
A few hours later, the team returns to inspect the damage.
That is absolute devastation.
Look at all of the gear that's burnt away.
That was a big fire.
Do we have to pay for that?
No, I don't have to pay for this.
Not it.
Not it.
We did not expect this level of damage to our gear when we set the tree on fire. You can see this lighting fixture completely melted. Our blacks melted. There's a camera up here. Completely melted.
This huge amount of damage all happened in 45 seconds. Please do not underestimate the danger of having a dried out Christmas tree and embers close by from a fireplace.
A Christmas tree inferno is going to be a tough hazard to top, but the team is going to try. The hazard team has created an airtight room to trap the propane inside. Now, they're taking the final steps to make this massive hazard go live.
Propane is heavier than air, so it's gonna wanna sink to the bottom of the room. This inlet is gonna suck up that propane, then shoot it up throughout this exhaust, which will distribute it evenly throughout the room. I've also attached this rope to guarantee that this flue is not gonna move.
What makes a gas leak explosive is the introduction of a spark. Brendan is wiring an ignition source that's meant to simulate the effects of someone coming home to a gas-filled room and either lighting a match or switching on a faulty light fixture.
Ignition system is ready.
All right, fans ready too?
Okay, pilot light is out, heater turned on. Propane leak has started.
This huge propane tank is hooked up to our wall furnace upstairs, which is currently leaking propane into the room. The perfect stoichiometric ratio is 6.1 pounds of propane for that size of room.
Just like the miniature, Dan is measuring how much propane has been added to the room.
All right, guys, we're up to 1.2.
When the tank is 6.1 pounds lighter, the room will contain the exact amount of propane needed, and it'll be ready to ignite.
6. All right, 6.1. I'm plugging in the fan.
Fire in the hole!
This Thanksgiving, be grateful your house is still standing. Every holiday season, an estimated 4,300 fires occur. And the damages are tough to swallow.
Backyard turkey fry-ups are becoming increasingly popular. Most shows would tell you how to do it the right way. So of course, I'm gonna tell you how to do it horribly wrong. First, let's use a frozen turkey. Ew. Second, not a little bit of oil, way too much oil. Last but not least, this amazing contraption is so I can remotely drop the turkey from a safe distance. That way I can get maximum chaos and I'm not in danger.
Because the turkey is frozen, it's loaded with excess moisture. And we all know that water and oil don't mix. Especially when that oil is heated to its flash point. A massive grease fire might be enough fireworks for the holidays, but imagine what would happen if this fire burned through the gas line to the turkey fryer. Well, you don't have to imagine. We're going to show you.
Now that is how you cook a turkey.
The hazard team is recreating the worst-case scenario of a gas leak explosion. They've sealed up a room and filled it with 6 pounds of propane. Now, they're ready to hit the ignition.
You guys ready?
Sir.
All right. Fire in the hole!
Did you see how much of that house is gone? Wow, that was magnificent.
What this clearly demonstrates to me is that a propane leak is a very definite hazard. This was an explosion. This wasn't a fireball. In an unventilated area, when you contain that burning of propane gas, it explodes. It's a moving wall. That's what happened here.
Well, you can see the furnace came off the wall.
Yeah, most things came off the wall. The wall came off the wall.
This is by far the craziest thing that we've done yet.
We've ripped this house apart.
It's amazing. This was done by 6 pounds of propane.
6 pounds, that's about a third of what your normal barbecue takes.
And 1 spark.
1 spark, 6 pounds, gone.
And this is what happens.